Uh, We're on mute.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was like, I think we're both on mute. Oh my goodness. I am
Yeah.
tired.
You and me both. Well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But still,
uh,
like this week, man, I don't know what it is.
yeah, today I feel a little bit better because I worked from home.
Yeah.
I took my time and I got to work on some stuff that I felt like was really important to me.
Yeah.
And like I was excited about our meeting. And so to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to work on this survey right now. Let me create our own little drive so everybody can be on it. And let me do this. And like, you would have thought I had like 6 cups of coffee. And then I was like, okay, they're not getting my jokes eating. So maybe I need to stop because I was like, well, I was going to say that, and I was like, oh, everybody's straight faced. Oh, they don't get
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I was like, I'm joking. It's a
Once we
joke.
is that once we see that red button of recording, we just like we can see it, so we like.
Oh, is that what? Look,
Mhm.
I don't care.
So we don't add more.
Yeah, I pretty much forget that it's recording. So it doesn't go anywhere because I'm not sending it to the cloud. It's actually just going on a hard drive on my computer. And it's my personal computer. So therefore, Fayette County can't seize it.
Annie, get out.
And I'm not recording. I made sure to check before.
But it says live on YouTube on the top.
Yeah, but it's not recording anything when I'm not recording here.
Okay. No, we can add more stuff when you start with your jokes, but once we see that button there, like we're like,
Okay, I'll remember that for next time, not to
yeah.
record our
So
planning.
you see us like, mhm.
Okay. How are you, Mr. Anderkin?
I'm well. How are you all doing?
Fine.
Nice to see you.
Hopefully
Everybody,
we have a meeting today.
everybody's safe and healthy.
Yes. How are you?
Doing well.
Okay.
Doing well. Everybody had their shots. Everybody okay with them?
I'm supposed to take my second tomorrow, but the UK shut down vaccinations today, so I'm
Yeah, they canceled mine today.
tomorrow.
I had mine today and they canceled it.
Yeah.
Are they going to be offering them to teachers at a different date too? Like later on, like next year at the beginning of the year?
I don't know. At that point, I think it's going to be open to the public. So they're going to move from 1B to 1C rather quickly. And the original plan was to, by the summer, have it open for general public. Because I think 1C is essential workers. Oh, she's frozen. Or is that me? Am I frozen?
It's probably me. Here.
This is my meeting number 4 or 5 of the day.
Oh, wow.
And I still have parent conference after this.
Okay. Well, we'll try to make this as painless as possible.
Hello, sorry, I was having some computer issues.
Well, I'm hopeful that we can make it through this meeting before we get this ice storm.
Oh.
I don't want that.
I was actually having some husband issues. He decided to update my computer about 10 minutes ago. So then I had to go find a Chromebook. I don't know. It's been fun.
Fun times, fun times. Okay, it looks like we have a quorum. If I can count correctly. Yes, that's 5. Okay. All right, I'm going to start recording. All right, the time is now 5:01 p.m. and we will call our SBDM regularly scheduled meeting to order. We are meeting via virtual because of the COVID pandemic. And as our numbers continue to decrease, we will then transition to in-person meetings. But until the time being, we are still in virtual mode. On our agenda, the first item is to approve. I hope everybody received all of the documents, attachments. But the approval of the agenda, yeah, see, I'm learning. Took 4 years that we're supposed to approve the agenda before we actually do the agenda. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so approval of the agenda. First on the agenda is to approve our minutes from our last meeting in January the 13th. Old business is to go over the student improvement plan updates, sharing that with you. New business is our budget, ESS program proposal. We have a monthly policy review, readings, and adoption. So right now we would just be doing the review of them to determine if they need to be updated or not. And that is the student assignment, school day and week schedule, and school space. Other business is the Fayette County 21-22 day 4 enrollment projections. And just to go over the fact that the tentative staffing and budget allocations from the school board to the council for the upcoming fiscal year is due to us by March 1st for your approval. And then digital drawing tablets overview by the math department. Ashley Sear will be presenting that to us. And then there are miscellaneous budget items that I will be sharing and going over to seek approval. And then we have public comments and adjournment. Can I have someone to make the motion to accept the agenda as read?
I motion.
Go ahead.
I motion to accept the agenda as read.
Okay, can I have someone second? Okay, so thank you, Ms. Sear and Ms. Albright. All right, the next thing on our agenda is the approval of the January 13th SBDM minutes. The overview of that was the first item, the meeting was called to order. The meeting was called to order at 5 p.m. The first thing on our agenda was the approval of the December 16th special call SBDM meeting minutes. And it was approved by Ms. Sear, seconded by Ms. Albright. Old business was an overview of the in-person remote learning plan and introduction of the matrix by Fayette County Public Schools to use to determine when we return back to school. January 4th through the 6th was the time frame in which we used to do a walkthrough the plans for the return to in-person learning and following the guidelines for the Healthy at Work. We talked about the first phase of the return would be K through 2, and that meant middle school would still be on NTI 2DL. There was a question asked if there would be any conflict with elective teachers overlapping if 6th grade were to come back in the building first. Said no, because we would be shifting our schedules at that time, so it shouldn't be an issue. December budget, we tabled that because I thought it didn't work. And new business, we talked about the student failures during COVID and the plan that was devised and what we were going to do at Bryan Station Middle School to address that concern. I posed to the committee any ideas on how we could help support our students, and our parent SBD members gave feedback. And other business, Ms. Sear stated that she heard the district just rolled out a new policy about algebra students having to have a average to pass algebra in order to receive a high school credit. She's going to double check to make sure that that is the case. Once we get the confirmation, we will send out a letter to all algebra families. And there were no public comments, and the meeting was adjourned at 5:50. Motion made by Cooper, seconded by Mr. Anderkin. Okay, there are no questions or concerns about the meeting minutes as read. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
As written. Thank you, Ms. Santiago. Could I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Albright, and seconded by Ms. Albright. I always do that. Is second in a word? right, moving right along to old business. I just wanted to share with you our CSIP. As I've shared with you in the past, that we are a CSI school, not CSI, ATSI school for our English learners, and we have been afforded the opportunity to receive federal funding through a grant for school improvement funds. And a component of this is to make sure that our CSIP reflects the needs that were included in our application. So I'm going to share my screen with you just to go over those areas of things that have been added. Okay. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So you'll notice in the proficiency goal area, the first line item is the PLC at work, professional learning for teachers and administrators. So in our application, we indicated that we would like for our staff members, our facilitators of our professional learning communities, as well as administrators to attend professional learning communities at work, professional learning or professional training. And so that was added, that we feel that by having efficacy with our teacher clarity will only help our students overall to grow in the area of increasing proficiency and decreasing novice. So that is a line item that we did include. You'll notice that the funding comes from the school improvement funds, which is through KDE and our application for that. And then I'm going to scroll down to our separate academic indicator. Another line item that was in the application was to request for an EL or English language paraeducator. So what we're going to be seeking is a paraeducator who can then go into our classes, which are under the separate indicator column, which is our science and social studies classes, to provide that co-teaching model to support with the course outline and standards, as well as the various needs of our students to acquire that academic vocabulary and to help support with working with students in smaller groups. And so you'll notice that our measure of success will be through walkthrough data, common assessment data, to see that those students are growing in those separate indicator areas of science and social studies standards. And then the funding, again, comes from that school improvement fund. And then you will scroll down, you'll notice that we had to include training as well. So with the growth goal to reduce the percentage of students scoring novice in reading and math, we included that co-teaching professional development for teachers and paraeducators to help foster the knowledge and growth of the impact of co-teaching strategies to reduce the number of novice learners. So basically the idea behind this is to utilize the co-teaching model that is used with special education, where you pair two teachers who will work together cohesively, either in small groups or paired teaching to support with the language, or not vocabulary, the development of language acquisition, as well as the academic vocabulary within the classroom. So we will be having training for our, we'll just say general education teachers, as well as our EL teacher and our paraeducators to provide that support. And so that was included, that component. Our other goal, because of our ATSI status, we had to establish another goal of showing an increase of our EL students attaining growth on access. So we included that component. Let me go there. We included that component right there with the co-teaching model with the EL co-teacher to assist implementing strategies and focus on academic objectives. And so that was already in our plan, but I just wanted to point that out to you that because we requested to utilize the funds from the school improvement funds, to be able to hire another. So we would have 2 EL teachers. So we have one that is provided to us through Fayette County and their district budget. But because of the number of students and the high needs, we have on the immersion side, as well as traditional side, we wanted to have 2 certified teachers and then also provide a paraeducator who could then go and support in the science and social studies classes. Okay, so I just wanted to bring you up to speed. Are there any questions about that? No? Okay. Stop sharing. All right, so that is the school improvement plan updates. No questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Then we'll move right along to the budget. Guess what, guys? I've got it. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, sorry. Let me share this with you. And I hope you can see it. Can everybody see it?
It's not sideways.
I worked on this. I'm telling you, I worked on this. I wanted to do this right because I was so embarrassed because I kept forgetting it at work and coming home and doing the Zoom meeting this way. So I just wanted to give you an update on our budget for, this is actually from February. And you'll notice that in our library funds, that available budget right now is $3,255. And that is for Miss Brewer and things that she would purchase and to support the learning. And so what she has done is she's actually utilized some funds already to purchase ebooks to help support with the continuation of reading and, during this pandemic. So that is her budget that we have set aside for her. The second one is, it's called the principal, but it's more or less like general funds. So things like, we've talked about this before, registration fees, copier rental, postage, food, non-instructional things, equipment, dues and fees and contingencies. So you'll see that we have like 45,000 still there. Our copier rental and like a lot of our paper and stuff like that. And because we have not been in school, you'll notice that we don't have a lot of the money gone at this time because of that reason. The next section is for overtime for our certified as well as supplemental, and that comes out of that pot of money, and our classified as well. So that comes out of that pot of money. So there's about 19,000 still there, and all of those grand total of 68,000, and that is our Section 6 funds that we received. We started out with 76,000, and you'll notice that we haven't really spent much because we haven't been in school. But I did want to share this with you. So we have carry forward funds, and this was actually funds that we were allowed to carry forward from the previous year, and we didn't get it until about November, and it didn't show up on our budget until December. So it's like November, we're told that we're going to get this money, they're going to put the money into our account, and then it appears in December. So we still have $31,000, almost $32,000 that we need to spend before April 15th. We are trying to figure out how to devise a plan of looking at the needs within our departments to support any instructional supplemental materials, things of that nature, to help resolve that amount of money. You will also notice our fee waiver, which is for instructional field trips. So since COVID and we haven't been in school, we have about $6,795, and we have not used it. And so Ms. Rose, our bookkeeper, has been in touch with the district to find out if that is going to be allowed to be carried over, because no fault to our own, we cannot go on field trips because we haven't been in school. So there's that. And then the next section is for, okay, this is for the classified. I'm sorry, the first one was for certified. This section is for classified. This is for the overtime for our registrar slash secretary at the front desk, as well as for our custodial staff. And so right now we still have a remaining 27,000 in there. So that is our budget in a nutshell. Any questions about that?
And you said that that just has to get spent before June 30th?
The 31,000 that I was talking about in the carry forward, yes, that has to be spent before April 15th or we'll lose it, which we don't really lose it. It goes back to Fayette County's big pot of money at the district level.
So this amount of money of 67,000 still in the budget, how much would that mean? Is there any projection at all would carry over for
15% is what they're allowing us to carry forward to next school year.
Yeah.
So we still need to spend that as well. Yes. So I guess so I try to find the silver lining. Here's another thing. You have a principal that is very frugal, not managed funds, but now we find ourselves in a pandemic and we haven't had field trips. And like the district did purchase a lot of our online curriculum. So like Imagine Learning, like our social studies department, they're piloting a new curriculum through Pearson. It's called Savvis. So we haven't had to buy much this year since we have been on NTI 2DO. And I spoke with Ms. Rose, our bookkeeper, and she said that Piper at the district level, who's over Section 6 or the finances, basically shared with her that several schools are having the same issue because we're not in session and trying to figure out what to do with the funds. Because when our children are not in the building, we really don't use much of the funds for things.
Do we still have like, do some of the projectors still need to be replaced?
That is something that I would have talked to Ms. Brewer about. I do not know. I know last year we did talk about that and we did actually purchase things that were needed in the library, or not library, but throughout the building.
Okay. I was just trying to think of things we could spend the money on. Like,
Yeah.
What about replacing any Chromebooks as far as upgrading
the
those?
district purchased those.
And the teachers that are going to be teaching and projecting at the same time assume they will need a better quality of equipment in terms of, again, with the monitors.
We're not doing monitors.
So how
Because because you're going to be using your smart board to project, and then you'll have kids in front of you, but you won't necessarily, well, in your case is totally different. I'm sorry, you're specifically speaking about your case. I'm talking about the whole school. Not everybody's doing the same as you. So
I understood that everybody will have like a misunderstanding then.
you and I will talk later.
Okay.
What about t-shirts for next year? Kind of go ahead and preemptively order those for like all our students like we did this year.
That's already on the table for doing that, but that is not going to take $30-some thousand. So like I said, I'm going to have a meeting with department chairs and talk to them, and they need to go back to their departments and discuss what are some supplemental instructional tools that you may need to help students be successful as we're returning back to school for this school year. And that's one way of dealing with it. And then I'm just going to go to my instructional leadership team and we're going to start brainstorming, and there will be probably some budgets, or not budgets, POs coming to SBDM, because anything over $500 I cannot approve by myself. I have to bring it before the council and get approval. So I just wanted you to know that's where we are with our budget. we're in good shape. That 8th grade group is going to have a nice little promotional ceremony, send off, I guess. But there's the budget. All right. Next, ESS program proposal. And that was shared with your documents that were sent out with the agenda. And we need to modify this because of the virtual. I know in the spring we looked at this and they've modified it a bit because of the needs and because of our student success plan. So when we were talking about our failure plan last month, they have addressed that. So when you're looking at this, there's basically going to provide 2 weeks prior. Sorry. They're going to provide ESS, and it's going to be for about 300 students, and the staffing will be based on the teacher certification. So there will be 10 certified staff members. The ratio will be 1 to 30 caseload and 1 to 10 per session. Mr. Beasley is the coordinator, and they're going to be assigned a caseload and be required to meet with those students for a minimum of 3 hours per week for the duration of the program. And then the teachers will be required to collect and analyze data and report to the ESS coordinator once a week. The goal of ESS is to reduce and eliminate failures among our students by providing students the strategies and skills necessary to be successful members of our school community. ESS teachers will also provide alternative strategies to facilitate the learning of difficult concepts and materials. We're focused on math, language arts, science, and social studies. This will be virtually for 3 hours per week, direct instruction with supplemental materials. The supplemental materials that will be utilized, or the programs that will be utilized, will be Success Maker, Reading Plus, Imagine Learning, or Odyssey-ware. We will not be doing transportation. Student progress will be monitored weekly through teacher collection of data. And then we will see the growth indication by map data from spring.
So that will be until May, only by Zoom?
Yes. Yes, we want to go ahead and get it started. And I just think that it'll start out by Zoom, and then we'll revisit because we weren't sure when we would ever really come back to school, and it may transition to in person. Then if there's any funds remaining for the summer, then we will use that in conjunction with other funds to have summer programming to help with students who have not met their math and reading standards needed to learn for this year, and in enrichment and transition. So we have already gotten the approval to use that in conjunction with summer programming, and we'll just leave it at that. So any questions, comments, or concerns about the ESS proposal?
I'm sorry, I'm late. I missed it. I had to work late.
When is starting? Or when is the date for start?
He is wanting to start this program as early as this week, but I told him that it had to go before the council because they changed the wording in it to mean virtual.
Do we have to approve it or anything?
Yes. Are we ready to vote on it?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor for accepting the ESS proposal as written?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. So that is the 10th. Thank you very much. Okay, on to the fun stuff. Now, Do you all have a copy or access to the SBDM policies, or do I need to share my screen?
Please share.
Share.
Share my screen? Okay.
Share.
Okay. So each month, KASC, don't ask me what that stands for right now. It's the Kentucky Association of School Councils. Um, they give us guidelines of when and what policies or bylaws to review. And looking at this, some of them have not been reviewed since 2011 or 2015. So I thought this would be a perfect time to start implementing this into our meetings. So the first one we will take a look at is student assignment. And everybody see that? Thumbs up if you can see it. Okay, so this particular policy in the KRS 160.345, it's the assignment of students to classes and programs within the school. And so basically through this policy, it states that it was adopted on 2015. And basically this policy states that the counseling department shall assign the classes and programs in a manner that will take each student's developmental needs into account, assuring that each student takes at least the following full year course in mathematics, science, social studies, and language arts. Ensure each student is placed in the appropriate mathematic course based on the criteria established in the math policy, math placement policy. And then when the policy ensures that students is placed in the appropriate English language arts course based on individual reading levels determined by the district prescribed assessment. And basically looking through this, it's in line with the template that is given by KASC. So I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but if you're looking through this, do you see anything that looks like it may need to be updated based on our present situation?
Only thing at the bottom, I don't know if the name of the Spanish immersion program, did that change? Did that change?
The name did not necessarily change. So just to give a background on that, because of the introduction of heritage speakers into the program, the overarching is dual language immersion. So we can still say Spanish immersion program, but the overarching, like a big umbrella, we are now actually truly a dual language immersion program. So the name didn't necessarily change.
Gotcha.
So any other comments or concerns, things that may need to be reviewed in smaller, like ad hoc committee to address, or?
I don't really see anything right now, but I'm on my tablet because my computer's not working, so.
I mean, like, honestly, other than that one line about fulfilling the requirements set forth in the Spanish immersion program policy, this is cookie cutter from the template provided by the Kentucky Association of School Councils. It's still following the not exceeding the state class cap size of 29 for 6th grade and 31 for 7th and 8th grade. And have not heard anything from the State Department about changing that because of COVID, healthy at work guidelines or anything of that nature. But so that's still relevant right now.
Looks fine to me.
Okay, so is everyone in agreement that we could say that it was reviewed and we can update this?
Yes, ma'am.
That it was
Yes.
reviewed? Okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to vote on that. So let's say all in favor of saying that this policy is fine the way it is.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. So we will indicate that this was reviewed on February the 10th, 2021. All right. And just because we have the Spanish immersion program policy, we have the magnet program, I just wanted you to review this. You can see that it was adopted on the 16th, or sorry, 2016, and then it was revised a couple of times since I've been principal. So in this policy, there's an entrance and a continuing criteria. So students currently enrolled in a Fayette County Public Schools immersion program will automatically be enrolled in the Spanish immersion program at Bryan Station Middle School. Guardians may begin the exiting process through a district opt-out form in order to continue from elementary Spanish immersion program to the middle school. No application is required. I talked to Roche, so far that is still intact. Any FCPS student current but not in immersion, or non-FCPS student, new student wishing to enter the dual language immersion program for the following school year must apply using the district online application between August 17th and October 7th. That was amended this year because of COVID. I will have to double check to find out if that would change, but for the most part, it's during that window. Entrance is determined by availability of space, Spanish language demonstration, and 4 modes of communication that meets district set language proficiency expectations, and a demonstration of similar language skills in English. Spanish language proficiency shall be determined through the administration of the Apple, but then it says exam or equivalent. And just so you know, we are switching over to STAMP.
STEM.
So because that verbiage is in there of or equivalent, it may not be necessary. Now I'll just pose that out to you. Do you all feel like we need to revise our policy, or because it says equivalent?
Well, it says our equivalent.
I mean, I can make note on this and we can take that.
Can you just put a comma, put the name of the other test? Because then next year they do Apple, or the other year they do STEM. Those are 2 different tests, and just leave the word or equivalent. Because this year they're doing STEM, but last year the other year they did Apple. So we
right. The district switched over to STAMP.
Mm-hmm.
I think high school was doing STAMP, and elementary and middle was doing Apple. So to be consistent with the data that was coming out of that assessment, the district opted to do STAMP for the entire program.
Yeah.
No, that changed. But I mean, I could highlight this and take this back to an ad hoc. I mean, because there may be other things. So how about we just highlight that?
Yeah.
I just came from the training of STEM.
Yes,
we
ma'am.
were having.
I'll just put that
How
on.
do you spell stamp? Is it just stamp in capitals?
It's all capitals, STAMP.
Okay.
All right. In order to enter the program, a student must score at the following levels of each of the following skills. Okay, so I will let you know that this will be changing, but not right now, because we are ESA certified, or is it certified, Santiago?
International.
So we're the Well, I mean, is it certified? We're an ISA school. So we're an International Spanish Association school. We applied, we're a part of it, but they are revamping their qualifications, which one of those areas is the language proficiency benchmarks. And so I know that this will eventually be changing, but until we get those solidified, then we don't know what they are. So you all are in agreement with me to table this particular policy, this section of the policy, until we get those updates from ISA with the benchmarks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
A student may not enter the program during the school year except in accordance to re-entry criteria listed below. So in order for a student to re-enter, as they have to the program within the 2 quarters following departure from the program as determined by availability of space. Student who wishes to re-enter the program after having been absent from the program more than 2 quarters must demonstrate appropriate language proficiency as delineated above. So basically this means if a student is in the immersion program first semester, first quarter, and then they exit, then they want to come back that second quarter. Don't know why anybody would want to do that, but then they would not have to take a test. But if it's the availability of space was not there, then they could not return. Are we okay with that wording?
But how they demonstrate the, if they're more than 2 quarters out, because
If
it
they're
says
out more-
must demonstrate appropriate language proficiency. How?
And that's when OPI comes in. So we've had students, this has happened with some students in the past couple of years, and they had to do OPI. Is that right? Am I saying it right? Yes. So through OPI, and they had to demonstrate through that assessment. And we have 2 staff members who are trained in that area. So we would work with those staff members to administer that assessment for those students. And then we also have Deborah, who is trained as well, who is the district level facilitator for Spanish immersion at the elementary level. Retention and promotion. So to ensure a fair and equitable procedure for promotion or retention, the following guidelines will be used. Each student must pass 5 out of the 6 non-exploratory classes with a year-long average of 65%. Must pass all 8 exploratory sections with a combined year-long average of 65% or higher. This was taken directly from the student achievement policy, because I remember when this was revised, we wanted it to reflect the same thing that we were asking the entire school with student achievement. Course recovery. Students who are unsuccessful in meeting the requirements for promotion as outlined in the promotion or retention section of the policy will have the option of recovering up to 3 failing courses in English or up to the combination of 1 failing course of Spanish and 2 failing courses in English, per principal discretion. Options for recovery of credit will be offered on a case-by-case basis and will be based upon the following criteria. Credit offered in English during the school year may be recovered through successful completion of the equivalent summer school course. A credit offered in Spanish may be recovered through the successful completion of a combination of Spanish course, and that content course offered in English during summer school should that course be offered in Spanish, I can't read anymore, should that course not be offered in Spanish during summer school. Successful completion of a summer school course will change the grade for the student's year-long average in that subject area to a 65%. Credit may be recovered in accordance to availability of an ESS and or online credit recovery programs per principal discretion and on a case-by-case basis, following the formula of the combination of a Spanish course and a content course given in English to recover the credit for the equivalent course given in Spanish. So basically what that means is we're going to do everything in our power to help those students not fail during the school year, either through ESS or course recovery. The platform that we're utilizing right now is Odysseyware, and it does come in Spanish. So we can offer that, but they would then need support from the teachers if they are not able to recover that course in Spanish. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. ISA diploma, the International Spanish Academies. Okay, it's academies. Certification must be met the following criteria in order to get that ISA certificate at the end of 8th grade. It must be enrolled in the Spanish immersion program at Bryan Station Middle School, have a 74 C average at the end of 8th grade, reach the FCPS SIP language proficiency goal of intermediate high in listening, intermediate high in speaking, intermediate high in reading and writing as determined by the Apple exam by the 8th grade, or
They
provide.
have the word or between each one of them. So if they have 74 C average at the end.
Right, they don't
They
have
can get
to
a
have the
different-
other. Yes, you can
Or-
have any one of these, yes. And then there's some students that choose to provide evidence of successfully passing the DELE. That is a B2 exam by the end of 8th grade, and it does cost money, and it is on a cost that is absorbed by the family in order to take the DELE. Evidence of both language proficiency and content proficiency must be submitted prior to the deadline required by the representative of the International Spanish Academies, which is Mr. Castillo for us. And then this section is speaking to that family engagement and communication component. So the teachers in the immersion program will adhere to the following: communicate and notify all parents whose child might be at risk of failing a class via email, phone call, or a letter prior to the end of each quarter. Have parent-teacher conferences communicating the possibility of failing a class. Offer alternatives to ensure students have every opportunity to be successful in passing a failing subject. So in accordance of going over programming and assignments, there are 2 areas that we will take in consideration once we get some more updated information from the ISA certification. Okay.
So the kids that are failing, let's say out of the 7 classes, they're failing 4 and 5, and they can only have a credit recovery of 3. Should those kids be like in a probation or something like that?
No, there's no probation.
So what we do with the other grades they did not pass? If they did not pass all the other, if they didn't pass all the classes and they recover 3, how it works with the other classes that.
Well, remember, don't include the electives because it says exploratory is a separate entity. So you're looking at your core classes. So that would be 4. And if they, and it says that you have to pass 3 of the 4.
No,
So,
they have five core classes.
right. But what I'm saying is when it comes, they can recover 3, but you can fail up to 1 and still pass to the next grade. Does that make sense? then also that caveat was put in there for like principal discretion and hope for having discussions with the family and the student and making sure that that student is successful all along the way. So it's not a surprise. That's what we don't want to happen. Okay, the next one is schedule.
So we're tabling that until
Yes.
you
Until we
add.
get more updated information from ISA about benchmarks. School day and week schedule. So ours is called schedule. And basically this is straight from the Kentucky Association of School Councils. And this is very important to us because it says upon receiving staffing and enrollment projection for the next school year, the principal with input from department chairs, team leaders, and other instructional leaders within the building and across the district shall establish a master schedule to be submitted to the council. This schedule shall be submitted for approval no later than June 30th of each year. My goal is to try to have that to you every year. It's been like April, May to have a master schedule to you. But the deadline to get that to you guys and approved is June 30th, which is right around the last meeting for the fiscal year. Any questions or concerns about that? Okay, so all in favor of keeping this policy the way it is written? Say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Thank you very much. The next one is school space. And this is another one that basically is from the template. And it says the principal or principal's designee shall assign space to use in a manner that will take each student's developmental need into account, implement the comprehensive school improvement plan, maximize staff opportunity for sharing resources, mentoring, and collaborating with teachers and students in a similar grade level. Any questions or concerns about that? So basically, you don't want to see me putting PE in the band room and saying we're not going to do band this year. Basically is what that says. Like, I'm going to take all that in consideration when we assign school space.
Was good.
Comments, concerns? Well, at this time, are we all in agreement and voting to keep this policy as written?
Aye.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. That concludes the review of policies. Wasn't that fun? There we go. Mr. Anderkins kind of smiled. Hey, I gotta keep myself entertained. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is FCPS 21-22 Day 4 enrollment projections. Are you guys ready for this? So the district has already provided our enrollment projections for next school year. So that basically, I need to go over this with you. The assumption is that in fall 2021, we will be back to normal. That's the assumption. Fall 2021, our community continues to grow. The current reality is that we have approximately 550 more homeschool students this year. We have approximately 125 more private school enrollments this year, and no historical data on the impact of virtual learning academy. So the methodology that they used, Steve Hill's department used in coming up with our enrollment projections was to include the rolling up of 7th and 8th grade enrollment and calculating the 3-year Day 4 historical data from 2018 and 2020 for 6th grade. In case where the above method used was extreme, was 18, 19, and 20 enrollments were used to develop the projections. So Here are our projections. Are you ready? So 6th grade traditional projections, 132. Spanish immersion 6th grade, 150. 7th grade traditional, 135. 7th grade Spanish immersion, 150. 8th grade traditional, 147. 8th grade Spanish immersion, 125. For the Spanish immersion total program, 425 are the projections. The total for the entire school is 839. Our building capacity is 800.
Do we have the numbers of what it is now?
Yes, sir. I'm about to read those to you right now. I knew you were going to ask. Yeah, I'm reading minds here. I'm like, they're going to want to know where we are right now. Okay, so as of February the 8th, in 6th grade, we have 132. So that is off by 18. They've given us 18 more. I'm sorry. So remember, I'm reading who's in 6th grade right now. That means they're going to be in 7th grade next year. So the projections has given us a plus 18. So a
plus 18 for non-SIP.
That's traditional.
That's traditional. That's what I'm saying. It's traditional. That's traditional. Okay, traditional.
Okay, so let me go back because I'm going to give you Spanish immersion numbers first.
Okay.
Okay, so the projection for Spanish immersion was 150 for next year. Presently, we have 132 that will be 7th graders next year. If they all continue on, we have 132. So that is, they've given us a plus 18. It all comes out in the wash. 7th grade, right now we have 125. Well, they were right on the money because Spanish immersion 8th grade projected for next year is 125. Now, traditional, right now we have 149 students in our traditional 6th grade. They only projected 135, which is minus 12. So see how it comes out in the wash because 7th grade projection was 18 over. Traditional was 12 under. So, I don't know how they did it, but whatever. Projections.
I would love to know that. Sounds like to me they just do some numbers against the wall.
I read to you how they came up, they wrote it out for us, and I was like, okay, I'll share it, but it doesn't make sense because to me, like you would take what we truly have in the building and then just push it up one, you know? And I can understand using that to figure out 6th grade because they're not in our building yet.
Right.
For 8th grade, they're right on the money because 8th grade traditional, we have 147 in 7th grade this year. And so next year it'll be 147.
So they project to leave no, okay.
It's called projection, so.
Yeah. So you do know, okay, so my new people on our council, you do know that the district does only staff us at 98% of our projected enrollment. So if all things are fair and doesn't change, then they're going to staff us based on 822 students. So it's actually closer to what I saw the number, where the numbers were off, is closer to that. But that still puts us in a pickle with our Spanish immersion program because we need 100% of our staff in place because a lot of our visiting teachers, we've got to do the interviews early because we have paperwork so that they can actually come to America to teach. So it's an interesting conversation that I have to have every year. So I just wanted to share with you those projections and where we are. So we are still a growing school. So that's good news. And looking at the number of Spanish immersion students that we have moved back to their homeschool or left for whatever reason. It's a total across the board. I didn't do the breakdown, but it's like 18. Some of those students we lost before school started.
Right.
So before they even stepped foot in our building, they decided we're just going to go to our homeschool. So there's that, but we are still growing.
But the building's not growing.
Numbers,
Our
the
building's
Spanish
not getting
immersion. I'm sorry.
Our building's not
building's not
getting bigger
growing.
though.
No, we're landlocked. There's nowhere for us to go. But interesting enough, our immersion program, based on the projections, is actually larger than our traditional program. So there's that. That's funny. So anywho, now I've already shared with you line item B under other business. Just know that the district has until March 1st to get us the staffing and budgeting allocations to be approved by the council. That's the deadline. And then the next thing on our list is digital drawing tablets. Math department chair, Ms. Sear, are you going to share with us? Or do you want me to?
No, I can. Sorry, I just had to book it upstairs. So our math department is, sorry, I'm going to make y'all sick moving it everywhere. Our math department was needing some way to make it easier for us to connect what we're writing to our computers, because let me tell you how awkward it is to turn around and write all the time when you're on Zoom. And then also when we go to in-person learning,
I can't hear her.
Uh-oh, we can hear
We
you.
lost her.
You froze.
You're frozen, Ms. Sear. Maybe if we all,
Yeah, let's take out the camera.
digital tablet. And so, oh,
Ms. Sear, we lost you.
I was going to say, did I miss all of that?
Yeah, we all turned our cameras off to help you out.
Thank
Yeah, let
you.
me
I
come-
appreciate it. I was like, I wonder why they're doing that. Okay, I'll start again. And I'll make it shorter this time. Okay, so in order to help with learning virtually and in person, we talked to the math department and wanted to see if we could get digital drawing tablets. That way we're not tethered to our whiteboard at the front of a room. When we do go back in person, we can rotate around the room. We can, once COVID is not an issue anymore, we can give the drawing tablet to students and allow to see their work and then work out problems on the board. We can draw stuff easier. So it allows teachers to still have that connection to the content on our smart boards, showing students in front of the class, but for us to be able to move around a room a little easier. And that way we can connect and see what each of our students are doing. So from the website that we are made a deal with to buy from, we found a really like the top brand, which is like the only brand they sell. And it is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So we can walk around the room and get these digital tablets. They're a really nice kind. I've done a lot of research on them. They hardly had any bad reviews on them. And we would just need one for each teacher, math teacher in the school, which is 10 people. And that way we could kind of free up our teachers from being tethered to the whiteboard. They do run $99.95. So they were a little bit more expensive than what Amazon has, of course, but and more expensive than the non-Wi-Fi kind. But I don't want to, the whole point of getting them is so we're not attached to our computers or boards. But like I said, they're a great kind. They will be like just absolutely used by teachers every day in classroom, and they can be moved down through the years. So the math department is coming to see if the board would possibly agree for us to get these goodies that will help us with our students.
Quick question. will they be able to, you know how sometimes stuff has to be updated year after year? Do they have it to where it'll update, that you can update it without cost and stuff like that?
Yeah, so you can download the software. Some of that software. I believe there was a 2-year program on it. So even if I'm honestly not for sure about past the 2 years, but I do know that we have some, like, I have an old one, and it connects still. It works. It's just a little laggy, and that one's probably 10 years old, at least 15 years old. So it's more like a hardware kind of thing to use.
Right. Right. It had 2 years.
Yes.
I don't really see anything. I mean, I would love for that to happen, but I was wondering if it could be a little longer.
Yeah, I can look it up and I can find out, and we can come back. I can do a little more research on it, because that wasn't something I thought of. So that's a really great question to propose to it. So I'm not sure about if you would have to update it after that or not.
But what if we were to move forward with whether to vote on this tonight?
Yeah.
And then the upgrade could actually be a separate entity altogether. And if it's under $500, we don't have to bring it before SBDM.
Okay, that's a good idea. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Were you waving one, Miss Santiago? Is that what you were?
You're on mute.
This is what she's talking about. So when we're explaining to the students, all they see is the whiteboard, and we just write in here the explanation. Instead of we trying to get a piece of paper and trying to explain to them, they will see everything in the board. And what she was explaining is that once we're out of COVID, then the students will use this, like, okay, who wants to do it? And instead of going to the board, the students in their desk and they're writing whatever is the example, and we all can see it. So it's very practical and it's very easy. And again, we need to expose the students how to use all these technologies, because the future for them is different than what it is for us in 10 and 20 years. So they have to be exposed to whatever we can do for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm saying yes.
I'm saying yes. I really like that.
Yes.
All right, so I guess we're ready to vote.
We already did.
All in favor of the purchase of Wacom?
Wacom is a brand.
Okay, Creative Pen Digitalizer UBS Bluetooth. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Yay, we will move forward with getting this purchased.
Thanks, guys.
The math department. Okay, so next on our agenda, we have a couple of other budget items. Because we are returning back to school, I'm gonna just claim it. We're gonna need outlet surge protector cords. So we're looking for the home unit that has 6 outlets. So that we can provide that for our students in the classroom, because sometimes they may come with their Chromebooks not fully charged. So we don't want to interrupt their instruction. So we would like to purchase so that each classroom could have 2 of these, because on average, our class sizes are about 25 to 28, 29-ish range. So each classroom would have 2 that would provide 12 outlet surge protectors per classroom. And the total cost is $1,500. So this will help profusely, because we know kids will be coming to school with their Chromebooks half charged, maybe not even charged. And so we want to remove those barriers so that our students can all learn.
Yes.
I think that's great. And I say yes. Should we also add to that possibly having some extra charging cords in each
Okay, Miss
classroom?
Albright, pump your brakes. We're talking about this one. It's coming.
Okay.
We can only talk about what's on the table right now.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we're talking about surge protectors.
Say yes.
Return.
Yes.
You
Yes.
said yes.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
I
Those opposed, nay. Okay. Next, Miss Albright's favorite. Okay, so as Miss Albright has jumped the gun and shared with us, as she knows because she's been helping us out in the front office, we are running low on chargers for our Chromebooks. We have families that call left and right and need a new charger. So we need to buy a surplus of chargers to replace our supply that we had and be prepared for when we return. So we once again can remove barriers for our kiddos. So we are requesting, we have two major brands of Chromebooks. So we're requesting to purchase 50 of the HP, because I guess that's the one we're running low on the most, and then 30 of the Lenovo chargers, a grand total of $2,126.
Sounds good to me.
Ms. Brewer is the one who wrote out this proposal, and she said that that should help us carry us through for the rest of the school year. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Okay, one last item.
It's like
We're on a
Christmas.
roll. Okay, so in our front corridor, I know a lot of, has everybody been in our building? Yes, okay. In the front corridor, we have this concrete or brick area in between the trophy case and the gym doors. And what we're asking with this proposal is to purchase a television that will project news announcements for the school. So as families and kids are, moving throughout the building, and families, when we have like basketball games or after school activities, they can actually see announcements. So it's another thing, or displaying student work from like our art department or tech ed or something of that nature, like, just to help with the communication to our school. We would like to purchase a television and then also the equipment that will help us to use it as a monitor to project like lunch menus, things of that nature. So, yeah.
Where's it going to be at again? Where would you hang it at?
It's going to be on that brick wall by the trophies.
Okay.
Right there. So you have like a gym door on one side. I'm a very visual person. I use my hands a lot. I'm sorry. I'm trying really hard not to do that. But you have the gym door, you have this brick, you have a trophy case, and then there's a brick trophy case. We want it centralized right there.
Right before the concession stand.
In between the trophy cases, there's a,
Oh, yeah.
so
yeah.
that's wide enough that we could put it there up high, and that would actually prevent kids from hanging on it.
Yeah. I know what you're saying now. I know where it is.
And so I just thought it would be kind of cool, bring us into the 21st century. And the total is $907.48. I'm trying, guys, but
It's like Christmas.
Is there a
I'll say
specific
yes.
name for the equipment that needs to be purchased, or just equipment?
Samsung TV series 65-inch. I really want this in my house.
Yeah. I love Samsung.
And then an HP Chromebox mini. And it makes a computer a monitor. It makes, I guess it's supposed to be, it makes a TV a monitor.
Yeah, it does.
Yes. So
I say yes.
I say aye.
all in favor, say aye.
Bye too.
I know, right? I want to put them everywhere.
My question on this is great. Is this go to, because we discussed this earlier, the kind of leftover budget we've got from last year?
Yes.
Can this get applied to that so we don't lose that?
Yes, that's what it's doing. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
We're actually taking it from our carry forward and
Perfect.
purchase all of these items. Yes.
So you're just gonna get one?
We still have a lot left. I mean,
Can you get it 2 for 1? Wait,
like you would just put
5 for
monitors
1,
all throughout
you
the
get a
building? Is
discount
that
on
what you're
5,
saying?
5, or
I
6.
think, I mean, no, I was asking, are you just gonna get one? What about like one where the cafeteria is? Like somewhere
We
in
have
there?
one, I think.
Are you talking about in the hallway? I'm afraid to put anything in the hallway right there because
Yeah.
we have that
They
mural on
like
the
to
wall.
jump a lot.
They like
Yeah.
to jump.
Yeah, they do.
Little boys, they just like to jump. And
The girls did too.
I haven't really seen any girls do it.
I did.
Yeah.
They kind of just look at the boys like, what are you doing? But okay. But at any rate, so yes. And then I'll be coming back because my brain's working. We are, okay, so that concludes our budget stuff. All right.
Is that it?
Other business, I'm gonna share a little something with you guys, okay? So we are going to apply for the ESA School of the Year award, and we're hoping that we get it. But there are some things that we need to put in place, like having bilingual signage in our building. And so that will be coming very soon to you to approve, because I'm pretty sure it's going to cost a lot. But I
So
just,
you got it on a good day, you should have had it.
well, that's because I just had my meeting with Mr. Castillo, because he's
Okay.
who is doing the application for us. And so we had a meeting and talked about some areas.
One of the items in the rubric that the
Yes,
signs are in English and Spanish.
yes. And our letterhead is going to have the ESA logo on it. I'm working on that. And so I've got to send that to the print shop, but I just want you to know that we're applying for the School of the Year, and hopefully we'll get it as the middle school immersion program of the year. Yeah, yay. Then we can have a party.
Mhm.
Very cool.
For those funds to buy stuff.
The field trip, that will be the spot, I mean, the spot trip, the field trip thing,
Yeah, there we go.
the spot trip.
All right, guys, thank you for your time. It's 6:15. And if there are no other questions, comments, or concerns, we'll call this meeting adjourned.
I'm in agreement about spending money.
Yes.
Last month we had to vote to adjourn the meeting. Do we need to do that?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thank you for keeping me straight. So could I have a motion for someone to approve
I motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper and Mr. Anakin.
Second time, bye.
Parents are always
All of
first
that.
on that, right?
Yeah. I can't believe we got through all of that agenda in an hour and 15 minutes.
That was
Yeah,
impressive.
We was just ready to say yes.
Great job.
Well, I'm supposed to use that, what is that, Mr. Robinson or Mr. somebody of meetings. Like, that's why we had to do all that approval, adjournment, seconded, all that stuff. Yeah. But anyway, thank you. I appreciate you so much. And next month, we'll have some more
More goodies. More goodies to vote on.
Yes. All right. You all have a wonderful evening. Stay
You too.
warm, stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.